많이 뱀이 hung. 자리 줄을 쏘하. hung 배드 그룹 city hung. Continuing to read from Lama Yeshe Losal Rinpoche's From a Mountain in Tibet, from page 221. Having seen what happened when we established temporary ordination, I felt emboldened to take on another issue. Namely, the lack of full ordination for women within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. More and more Western women were dedicating their lives to practicing the Dharma at Samiling, and they felt understandably frustrated and overlooked because they, unlike their male counterparts, were not able to take full, lifelong ordination. There are 3 steps in the process of ordination in our Tibetan tradition. The first is Genyen, which consists of observing lay precepts for varying lengths of time, and is a precursor to the second step of Getsul, which is novice life ordination, and finally Gelong, which is full lifelong ordination, and only available for men. So, for example, most of the Samiling Sangha, men and women alike, took Genyen vows for 1 to 3 years, and then moved on to taking Getsul vows. After that, men could take full Gelong vows, but women could not take the equivalent Gelongma vows because, for some reason unknown to me, the full ordination of women was not preserved as a tradition in Tibet. Either it was lost, or it never reached Tibet from India, though it flourished in some other Buddhist traditions, in China, for example. Whatever the history, I was very aware that equality of opportunity for women was extremely important in our day and age. I suspect that we never did have Gelungma female ordination in Tibet, because Tibet was a patriarchal society that was unusually closed off from the influence of outside cultures. Tibetan Buddhism had simply reflected the norms of this society. But one thing about Buddhism is that it has always been adaptable and has taken on the flavor of the society it finds itself in. I believed it was time for Tibetan Buddhism to adapt to the contemporary world. The problem, as with temporary ordination, was that it was impossible for a high Lama to take the step of offering something that had no precedent within our tradition. Unbroken lineage is a cornerstone of the Dharma, and it is the duty of high Lamas to uphold it. Neither His Holiness the Karmapa nor His Holiness the Dalai Lama could promote a system of higher ordination for women, but perhaps I could. Maybe Gelongma ordination would gain wider acceptance once it was up and running, as had happened with temporary ordination. So once again, I made a decision. I channeled the power of being a nobody and began to explore whether we could establish Gelungma ordination in Tibetan Buddhism. I made a connection with the Venerable Master Xing, a Mahayana teacher in Taiwan, who held this lineage of full ordination for women. He and another High Lama from Hong Kong were arranging a bhikkhuni ordination in Bodh Gaya, India, which took place in February 1998. Bhikkhuni is the Sanskrit word for what we call Gelungma in Tibetan, a woman who has taken full ordination. They invited me to be one of 27 preceptors for the ceremony. I was the first Tibetan Lama ever to participate in the ordination of women. More than 100 women and 50 men received full ordination over the course of the ceremony, including 11 nuns from Samiling. His Holiness the Dalai Lama did not attend, but he sent a witness. He had been unable to get backing from all his High Lamas, some of whom were concerned that they could not know for sure if the Mahayana tradition was a pure, unbroken lineage. They were reluctant to throw their trust behind the move, since it departed so significantly from our own tradition. I was neither surprised nor concerned. I understood their reasoning and trusted that this would be a gradual process of change. I was so proud to participate in the ordination. Preparations took place over 9 long and rigorous days and 1 overnight session. The third and final part of the ceremony, when the Bodhisattva vow is taken, was conducted under the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha attained enlightenment. This felt hugely profound and significant to me. In the years since then, the changes have become embedded at Samiling. There are now more nuns than monks in our community, and there is no hierarchy according to gender anywhere in the organization. Gelungma nuns do not have to sit below Gelung monks in the shrine room. Of the 4 individuals who have been empowered with the title Lama since I became abbot, the title recognizes someone who has proved themselves to be a stable and mature practitioner over many years in retreat. 3 are women. Lama Zangmo, for example, is a Danish woman who was appointed the head of Samizong, London, Samiling's outpost in the capital, and is one of the most senior people in our organization. Even more importantly, the innovation has created ripples in the wider world of Tibetan Buddhism, as I hoped. His Holiness the 17th Karmapa has now indicated that he accepts Gelongma ordination, receiving all Gelongmas as absolute equals to their male counterparts. He is now working to introduce Gelongma ordination throughout the Kagyu lineage. I am so happy to have played a part in creating this opportunity for the many devoted and committed women whose merits are now being properly recognized. My great aim has always been to give people the conditions they need in order to meditate and mature their minds. This applies just as much to lay people as it does to monks and nuns. I try to provide a framework that is flexible enough to accommodate people's needs, but also gives them clear boundaries. From the mid-1990s, I began to suggest to people who did not wish to take ordination that they might benefit from taking precepts as a layperson, either on a temporary basis or for life. The idea behind precepts is to create an ethical container that holds our spiritual practice. I gave people the opportunity to abide by one or more of the 5 golden rules. Many people chose to take the precept of not consuming intoxicants or not engaging in harmful or destructive sexual relationships. If they'd got into the habit of using drugs, including alcohol, or having thoughtless sexual relationships, I would encourage them to swear off these activities for a year. They would take the vow in my presence, and I would check in with them regularly to see how they were getting on. I tried to be firm but fair. I would give people 3 chances before I said, enough. A lot of people benefited from this framework for breaking bad habits and from our relationship of trust and communication. Continuing from page 221, from a mountain in Tibet.
Well, it's good that Lama Yeshe took the initiative to do this thing on his own, because seemingly a lot of them are very reluctant to do anything about it.
Yes.
And it's good they've done that. And it seems to have caught on, and as you say, it sets a lot of ripples going through. So everybody's starting to think a wee bit more different about it. Just to be somebody to go ahead and start it, you know.
Yes.
And the rest would follow.
Set the example.
That's right, the example. And I knew the Karmapa was keen in that, but sometimes the Karmapa like to go faster than they like it to be, but it's coming slowly, you know.
Yes.
So these things that sometimes take a bit of time.
Yes.
You know.
But there's a lot of support for the full ordination of women, and it's mobilizing in different places, and then collectively it forms a force that moves everything forward.
That's right.
Everyone plays their part in helping create an openness to it.
Yeah. So that was a good start that was made, and we'll probably hear a lot more about it later on.
Yes, these are still early days, right? It's just...
early days, and it'll become on the increase, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Lama Yeshe got on and got the wheels moving there.
Yes.
Make the shift. That was good. So maybe others start thinking differently themselves and start doing something too.
Yes. A courageous example can then encourage other people to stand up for what they think is positive and helpful, and that will benefit so many beings.
Yeah. And I think so many people are very doubtful about it, that they're very slow in the uptake, and they're quite prepared just to sit back and let things be the way they are, instead of making any changes, you know.
Yes.
So it was good that this happened, you know. Very good.
It's a very positive time right now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is time for changing, you know. Lots of changes. Even the Mappers make lots of changes himself too.
Yes.
You know, and he had all the nuns made sure they all sit in the front. It's usually males that sit in the front. Kamapa put all the nuns in the front. So that was a good example, you know.
Yes.
And well, it's a good number he got for Samuel Lane, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That's a good number. Now there's more nuns than ever, more than there is men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think people can tell Lama Yeshe Rinpoche is very comfortable with women having authority positions and stepping into their power, and he had lots of very strong and wise and courageous women in his life. So he grew up with those examples to back up this movement he's done for everybody's benefit, because he knew that women could do it from his own experiences.
Yeah.
Very strong mother, very strong sisters, and it carries on from there.
Yes, that's right. So we'll see what happens to the other groups, the Nyingma and all the other groups. See if they'll do something too.
Yes.
If the Kaju's done something.
Yes.
Maybe the other ones may turn their mind to it as well.
Yes.
Since it's happened. Yes.
Exciting times.
Okay.
Very positive.
Yeah.
And it brings great benefit to all beings.
Yes, that's right. So things are on the move. That's good.
Yes.
And a lot more we'll hear later on about it. You know, the ripples, as you say, the ripples are are rippling through, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yes. Stay tuned.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, it's good when he said he'd do something much more a little bit more bold than what he had already done. So one thing usually leads to another, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
The courage builds.
Yeah.
And the momentum.
He's starting off with his half ordinations, and the rest sprang up after that. Things keep changing, you know.
Yes.
We'll we'll wait and see whatever clever ideas shows up.
Yes.
Well, it's off to a good start.
That's right.
It's off to a good start. It was backed up with Kamapa, which makes it even more good. So maybe Dalai Lama will do something too.
Yes.
And the Nyingma school and Drukpa Kaju and the other Kaju schools, and you know, they might decide to do something too.
Yes.
So it should, after that, it should spread. Okie dokie.
We're just very grateful to Lama Yeshe Rinpoche for having the courage to take a stand where it matters and to stick with it and to have confidence, even if it doesn't seem that he has all the backing that you might normally expect to make such a big change. We're just very grateful to him for his courage.
Yeah.
And his perseverance and his vision. It's very transformative. He's shown that not only can we transform ourselves, but out of that, out of the transformation of the inner environment, there can also be a transformation of the outer environment as well.
One small step leads to a greater step.
Yes.
Yes. Steps at a time.
So there's a great deal of gratitude and appreciation.
Yes. Okay, Lama, Yeshe, you did a good job. Keep the good work up.
Keep going.
Yeah.
That's what you say. Keep going.
No, there's no stopping after that. You got to keep going. Okay, dokie.
Okie dokie.